it's hard to translate, but it's like a very Indonesian. What do you call that? Words for that, you know?
Okay.
Like gondal gandul. Gondal gandul means like ling ling. While walking, you know?
Yes.
Something like that.
I don't even know how to tell the listeners what I just saw.
Welcome to Travel Matters, the official podcast of TBEX. Here are your hosts, the radio vagabond Palle and TBEX CEO Rick Calvert.
Welcome to Travel Matters, the final episode of the year. And good to see you, Rick.
Good to see you again, Palle. How's Thailand? You're still there.
I'm still in Thailand. And I'm about to leave in a few days. Actually, on December 25th, I fly to Australia. So I got cheap a flight on that specific day. Seems like not a lot of people want to fly on the 25th. But for me, I don't care. So I'm flying on the 25th and we'll land on the 26th and be in Sydney for New Year's Eve and hope to see a great fireworks with the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Opera House in the background. So my first time in Australia, and I can't wait for that.
Well, have a great trip.
Yeah.
How long are you going to be there?
I'm going to stay almost 80 days, 75 days or something like that. So close to 3 months.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go on a cruise, a 12-day cruise to New Zealand. And then when I get to New Zealand, I'm going to stay in New Zealand up until TBEX Greece.
Awesome. So you'll be there for 6 months between the two, just about.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, 5 months. Yeah. I think I counted 75 days in Australia and 50 days in New Zealand. So
that's great.
And I could spend 3 months in each place, I'm sure, because there's so much to see. So
easy.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Easy.
But also, it's going to give us some challenges with the different time zones when we're doing this.
I'm usually right here, Palle. You're the one who's always all over the place.
Yeah, it's my bad. So I'll get up super early. So right now it's 10 a.m. here in Thailand, and you in Utah, it's 7 or 8?
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Which, by the way, Palle's the one who's all over the world, and he's the one who's always on time, and I'm the one who's always late. So
yeah, speaking of that, you were a bit late for this call because your dog decided to go out and explore the neighborhood in the rain.
Yeah. Yeah, I was bringing in the groceries, and we have a door that goes into our backyard, our garage area, and then there's the kitchen door inside there. And this dog, we got him a couple months ago. We talked about him. Bjorner came from Alaska. But the dog will not come to you, ever. He has no recall. So we never let him out without a leash, even in the backyard, because we got a gigantic backyard. It's almost an acre. He will not come to you. So I put this 20-foot leash on him so I can grab him and make him come to me. Well, I brought the groceries in, and I left the back door gate open, door, and the kitchen door I opened, and I left that open because I had to go back out and get more groceries. And he was right there. And I said something to Angie, and he just, boom, bolted right out the door and into the street and down the street, and he was gone. And he was right across that street from us. There are houses that are on the mountain, and he was running through those backyards, and then he ran across the street, and he's running through some other backyards. We couldn't catch him, and me and Angie were both out there, and then we met several of our neighbors because he was in their yard. They don't have fences in between the houses, so he could just run through these backyards. And I've got to go up and down the hill into every yard. I can't just be walking through people's backyards. No, I got to knock on every door. I'm sorry, my dog's in your yard, and it's raining and snowing.
Yeah, and also you have to remember that you haven't lived there super long, so it's
right.
Still
But I met several neighbors. There was one, he kept going into her yard because she had some chickens and a big old turkey.
Oh, geez.
And a raccoon that they had just caught. He was actually still in the cage. And so when I went up to try to catch him there, Bjorner's just looking at this raccoon like, what's this thing? He hadn't seen one before. And as soon as I got close to him, he ran off. Anyway, it was impossible to catch him. Fortunately, a neighbor got him to come into his garage, and he closed the garage door.
And you had 2 dogs, and that's actually the reason you're not in the interview that we're going to play with Trinity, because you were sitting down at the table. We were just about to hit record, and then you got a text message from Angie. So you had to, tell me about it.
Our other dog, Abby, she was 16 years old, and Angie called me right before the opening keynote and told me, hey, Abby's not doing good. I think she's going to die. And I'm like, maybe she's exaggerating. I'm like, I got to introduce the speaker, the opening speaker right now. I'll call you back in a little while. Mm-hmm. And I did that. The keynote was over. I called Angie. She said, yeah, she's not breathing good. Something's different. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's going to be around. And her health had been failing for a long time before we moved here. She's 16 years old. That's pretty old.
It's pretty old, yeah.
Any dog, let alone this type of dog. But when we moved here, she got a new life. Like, she loved running in the big backyard. Our neighbor has chickens. She loved just going down there and watching the chickens run around. Mm-hmm. And she had a new spring in her step. So for about 6 months, she was revitalized. And then we got the new dog, and they got along okay. He was too energetic for her. But anyway, we were sitting down doing our interviews, and Angie messaged me that Abby had died in our living room. She was there with her. So I had to go call her.
Yeah, of course. And then Tomiko was just there and said, you want to go deal with that, and then I'll sit in and I'll do this. So that's why it's Tomiko and me and not you and me. But
that's like, I forget the guy's name who I can't now. That's a sign of getting old. I can't remember the name of the guy who took the job. There was a guy who played for the Yankees who was a great first baseman, and he was sick one day, and Lou Gehrig replaced him as the first baseman. I know you don't know anything about baseball.
Got no clue.
And Lou Gehrig never missed a game for something like the next 15 years. That guy was out of a job. Wally Pipp, it came to me. Uh-huh. Wally Pipp was the first baseman for the Yankees, and an amazing first baseman. And he called in sick one day, and Lou Gehrig replaced him, and for 17 years, never missed a game. 2,130 games in a row. It was the longest record in baseball until not just a short while ago. And that was like something like 98 years ago. That's the thing about baseball, Palle. You remember things from 100 years ago in baseball.
Okay. I feel so Danish. I had no idea. I understand that it's a sport, and I have been to a baseball game, but I don't really understand it. But that's just me being Danish, and like so many Americans, they're no interest in what you guys call soccer.
So I'm Wally Pipp in this story. Tomiko is Lou Gehrig. So I heard that Tomiko was going to replace me because she just crushed it in this interview.
Well, let's see how it goes. Here's the interview that Tomiko and I did with Trinity Traveler, the famous Indonesian travel writer and author and travel blogger. And have a listen to this. We're at TBEX in Phuket, Thailand, and for this interview, I'm joined by the talented and beautiful Tomiko. Thank you, Tomiko, for standing in for Rick. He had to just skip off for a few minutes.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Do you think you can fill Rick's shoes?
I probably can't fill his shoes, but I can be probably a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more funnier.
And if you hear somebody laughing in the background, it's our guests. Welcome, Trinity.
Hi.
You call yourself Trinity Traveler.
Yes.
And when you started your session that I had the pleasure of sitting in on, you said that you have another name, and you didn't go into it until I said, well, what is your name?
Yes.
And then you said something with so many letters that I cannot remember. So can
It's
you please?
20 characters.
Okay.
How many characters?
20.
20. Okay.
So here's the challenge for the two of us to just warm up our voices. Tell us your name and we will repeat it.
Ade Perucha Hutagaol.
Adiperakac Hutapao. Now you.
Okay, say it one more time for me.
Ade Perucha Hutagaol.
Adabera. You know what? I am going to get it right because I hate when people have names that Americans can't pronounce and then they shorten
no
it.
worries.
No.
Even Indonesian cannot pronounce it. It's not common Indonesian name.
Okay, it's not a common Indonesian name.
Indonesian name.
Okay.
So
what does it mean?
Oh, okay. Ade means little sister.
Little sister.
So it's three.
Okay, we'll split it
three
up.
words.
Adi?
Yeah. Ade is little sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perucha. Perucha is actually my mom took the name Perucha because she was a famous Indonesian swimming athlete, a very good one.
Yeah.
So she hoped that I could be a swimming,
And
athlete.
you did.
Not that good. I become a blogger.
Kind of the same thing.
But you were a swimmer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Hutagaul is my last name.
Is your last name. Okay. So, but your first name then is just, pronounce the first name?
Ade.
Ade. And then the
middle
name?
Middle name is Perucha.
Perucha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last name is Hutagaul.
Hutagawa.
Yes.
Okay. So that's not bad when you break it up.
Yeah.
First, middle. Because if I said my name is, I don't tell people my middle name because.
But actually, I never publish my real name in anything. I just use Trinity.
Okay.
Since I'm online.
That is also a lot more easy, and you got that from
the movie Matrix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Trinity is my alter ego.
Trinity is your alter. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to come up with an alter
and
ego.
you're hoping to meet Keanu at some point.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves, but he has a girlfriend now.
Yeah. Well, my name, I think it's fairly easy. Palle, but every time I say Palle, people say, what? So now I've started, if I say Pallebo, it sort of rolls better off the tongue, and I don't get the, So now I'm saying Pallebo.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've called you Tomika.
Yes, everybody does, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I've been called worse, so I take Tomika, Tomiko, Tomiki, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? You're from Indonesia.
I'm from Indonesia.
And you're a big-time blogger and author and
I'm
all of that.
I'm the OG of travel blogger in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started the first travel blog in Indonesia in 2005.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you are really the first travel blogger.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I guess at that point it was like blogging wasn't even a big thing back then.
Yeah. Well, people started blogging in early 2000 in Indonesia, but it's just dairy offline become online. Yeah. So it's mostly about the daily life of someone's. But since I had this naked-traveler.com, I made it like a niche, just specially for travel.
And then you also wrote a lot of books.
And so that was in 2005, and it attracts publisher. And then 2007, I published my first book. So based on the blog.
Yeah.
Yeah. And until now,
so how did that work? Sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry.
Is it basically taking your blog posts and then just copy pasting that into a book?
The first one, yes.
Yeah.
So I rewrite something, because it's it's all over the places. And I have my editor,
right.
No, don't do this, don't do that, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then the first book, The Naked Traveler, and the subtitle is a story of an Indonesian female backpacker around the world, traveling around the world.
Yeah.
And then after a few months, it got banned because
of the title.
Because of the title alone?
No, not because of the title. Oh, okay. By the way, The Naked Traveler, the naked is actually a pun from Indonesian word nekat. Nekat means bravery, courage, and also reckless.
Oh.
But I got
And for the listeners, you are fully clothed right now.
Yes, I'm fully clothed. Only naked in the shower when I travel or anywhere. But it got banned because I have like 3 stories, because it's compilation of short stories of my journey around the world.
Yeah.
And 3 of the stories, they thought that it's too sexually explicit.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we're
A Muslim
Indonesian.
country, yeah.
So what in the stories was...
Okay,
clearly there had to be...
Give us the details.
Yes, give us the
first-
details.
The first post of my blog was about swimming in a nude beach in Australia.
Okay.
Okay, and then the second.
Well, Germans would say that's not necessarily anything sexual.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just swam. You didn't do any. It wasn't any.
Yeah,
like,
maybe, but the word that I chose, I,
Come on.
So was there? There has to be something else. Were you doing something else while you
no,
were?
no. I just swam.
Okay.
And I told the story about how I felt. Being naked in front of a lot of people, and then I saw. The genitals
Right,
everywhere.
of other people everywhere.
Yeah,
right.
Describing what you
Yeah,
saw.
describing it's sexually explicit. Okay.
So how did you describe it? Tell us.
Because I wrote in Indonesian. So, I mean,
So what kind of adjectives did you use to describe what you saw?
I'm so glad I'm having this. It's a question that Rick would never ask. Thank you, Tomiko.
You should see her hands here. Her hands are are currently being descriptive. Okay, I'm going to get back on track. Go ahead.
Yeah. This. It's hard to translate, but this like a very Indonesian. What do you call that? Words for that,
Okay.
Like gondal gandul. Gondal gandul means like bling bling. While walking,
Yes.
something like that.
I don't even know how to tell the listeners what I just saw. You didn't expect the interview to go this direction, did you?
Yeah. And, okay, let me tell you the other 2, right? Okay, and then another story is about the tiger show in Thailand. Where you watch people naked and then doing stuff like open a Coke bottle with the vagina.
Oh, yeah.
And like that. Yeah, ban.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the third one was about I went to United States to go to a strip clubs. Not a strip clubs, a few strip clubs.
You said in the States?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah, you got to meet the local culture.
yeah. So again, how I describe things.
The strip clubs? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And were the strip clubs, were they fully, or were they just like, some of them only they have to have their bottoms on?
Well, it gets gradually open, right?
Okay. Okay. All right. And so they were not. And did that make you sell more books because it was banned?
Yeah. And it was banned, and then I got
wanted
interviewed
it.
on TV, basically, like. Oh, and then and my editor and my publisher, got a call from a newspaper, and they're like, how did it happen? I mean, this is like a freedom of speech, something like that. And then, and because of the rare, the scarcity of the books,
right,
it become more popular.
Yeah.
That's one of the factors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you were ready for the next ones.
Now, I have a question for you. How do you find being in travel writing and blogging for so long that the sort of shift has changed in what was once popular and how things have changed? How are you able to stay abreast of the changes and stay relevant in an industry where, something new is always on the horizon, whether it's social media? How are you able to still find your place after all of this time?
Yeah, I mean, I've been having my blog for 17 years and still active until now. And then actually, I was also doing, I was joining the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram just to keep up,
Right.
And then, but that's also my purpose to join the social media is actually to promote my books because until now I've published 15 national best-selling books.
Wow.
Yeah, all
15.
about travel. Yeah, 15.
What was your last one?
The Naked Traveler 8.
The
So
Naked
it's like
Traveler.
a series.
It was a series.
Yeah.
Okay. When did that one come out?
2019.
2019.
So just before the pandemic.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and then
Do you have a new one coming out? Another one coming out soon as well?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, I stopped the last book is the last series of the Naked Traveler because I wanted to write other than travel.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are 2 books I'm still writing it. One is fiction and one is
that's a whole new thing.
yeah, and one is non-fiction. It's based on the research. Yeah.
Okay.
You did a session about storytelling, and I'd like to go through a few of the highlights for me.
Yeah.
But before that, there's something we just have to talk about. You have had an interesting life being one of the first bloggers and a female traveler, and then you get a call from a movie studio, or what happened? Because your life story was turned into a movie that also had a sequel.
Yeah, okay. So, movies in Indonesia is a big thing, the movie industry. Like, probably, I don't know, the production is like over the top in Indonesia. And then I think I got the call and then meeting with the production house since 2015. So, yeah, but it never, got through because... See, the Naked Traveler is a compilation of short stories of my travel. So, and then they wanted me to write a script about it. And I said, no, it's not my experts to do that.
Right.
Yeah. And then in 2016, I found a production house that, really a big fan of my books. And so he present me everything. He knows what to do, and then what's who's playing me, and then everything. So I said yes to that production house. That is produced, and then it's the most bizarre thing happened in my life because usually the biopic is about hero, a president, or athlete. It is just Indonesian blogger, travel writer, and it's not just one. There's a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
2 movies.
How much were you involved in the story, or did you have a right to say no to certain things, or?
So this is the okay. They bought the royalty, and also I got the royalty from the sales ticket. And then before we made the script, I sat down with the director and the script writer and the guy from production house, and then how we make the storyline of it. Since they all read my book, so they know what to do.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. And I played cameo.
You played a cameo? Oh, awesome.
As a tourist guide. So people are surprised, look, you're here.
So is it available to view in the U.S. or just in Indonesia only?
Now both of the movies in Netflix Indonesia.
Okay.
So I can get my VPN to Indonesia, and then I can see it.
Okay.
Go to
I gotta
VPN to
do
Indonesia.
that. I have to do that. But it must have been bizarre watching the movie for the first time and seeing this super famous actor playing you.
Yeah. Super famous actress. Like a very beautiful, slim.
Oh my
wow,
God.
that is amazing.
If your life was turned into a movie, who would play you?
Oh my gosh, Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
Yes,
You look like one too.
Angela Bassett with her arms and her abs. I don't have abs still, but I would like to imagine that I would have them one day. So Angela Bassett with her arms and her guns. Yes, I could see it. Yes.
Yeah, I've always thought it would be Bruce Willis playing me, but now he's not acting anymore, so it's probably not going to happen. But I don't think I'll get that kind of call.
So is this your first TBEX?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. And as a speaker.
Yeah. You're starting out hard, but do you think
speak-
you'll come back as an attendee?
I don't know yet. I mean, I don't even know the next TBEX is where.
Well, there's one in Greece and there's one in Wisconsin. So
Well, it depends on Shane.
Now, speaking of her speaking, you are a speaker here. You were just about to go into and talk a little bit about her session.
Yeah. I made a ton of notes, taking down notes of what's good storytelling.
Yeah.
And let me just give a few of them that stuck with me. Start with something interesting. Obviously, that's your journalistic background that comes in there. Use all your 5 senses. See, that's something I try to do, but sometimes I forget it. So what are the first 5 sentences and why is that important?
Because it's a travel writing where you go to some places and then you describe the places, right? Yeah. And if it's only the site, like I went to this place, I saw this, it doesn't have a depth into it. So imagine if you tell the sentence in like, I smell the nice coffee from the cafe, and then while sitting, listening to other people's language, I don't know, but it sounds beautiful, or and it's chilly, so I had to cover with my the blanket that given by the restaurant. It's you can. With that 5 senses, you can, imagine it being, and then you want to be in that place.
And you as a blogger, as a writer, you want people, and me as a podcaster, I want people to see, close their eyes and see what I'm seeing and feel what I'm feeling.
Yeah, but the seeing is not enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah,
no.
you have to,
visualize.
Yeah,
exactly.
visualize. Showing, not telling, right?
Yes. And then you also like to have some quotes from locals in your stories.
Oh yeah, quotes from locals. Yeah. Again, because nowadays, people don't talk anymore not anymore. Like most of the people don't talk to the locals, because we have now all the gadget, the Google Maps, the TripAdvisor and everything, But then when you write about travel, and then you have the local saying something, like, what was this place before? So the story become more interesting. Yeah. And then I told in the class also that if you quote from a taxi driver, it means that you're lazy, because we all talk to the drivers, right?
I've recorded so many great interviews with taxi drivers and Uber drivers all around the world, because here's a local.
Yeah. But it is that you don't spend enough in that place. You only talk with the taxi drivers, like. And then,
True, but I'm still going to keep doing it because I love speaking to Uber drivers. Yeah. What are some of the other things that you want to highlight as takeaways?
Avoid cliche.
Yeah, that is your pet peeve. You kept going back to that.
Yeah.
Not so much the hidden gem and...
Yeah, hidden gems, or off-beaten path, like if it's in Google... then somebody else must have been there. Even if it's already in Instagram, it become viral. But somebody else say, how did you know about going to that place? Unless you saw it somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So it's not hidden anymore.
No.
What is the word people can use instead of writers that are listening that struggle with being descriptive when writing, and the words like, hidden gem and the ultimate, those words are overly used now as a way to draw people in. What's another word that you can use for, instead of hidden gem? Like, how do you not be that writer?
Again, it depends on the what media you write. Like, because my session was about writing for a long form travel stories. It means like books or printed magazines. So you difference than like
blog post
yes. like or a portal. You know, they say, even Lonely Planet says like 8 places that best for expats or 5 most Instagrammable place in Phuket. Right? It's all a listing round up. So it's not the travel stories.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to TBEX a little bit. So what is, and I know this is your first TBEX, is there a takeaway that who have you met that, has stood out? That have you met someone that, you've maybe, okay, gosh, this is like going to be my friend when I leave here. Has there been a takeaway so far? Would you invite other people to come?
Okay. Actually, this is only the first day, right? Yes. So, and then what's surprising me is, I met some people that from the past. I mean, the same press trips, or the same events, and then they're from all over the world. I was like, I met you. I think I know you. It's like that.
Exactly.
And then, but another thing that surprised me is TBEX Asia, but the Asian is the lowest number. Yeah, but it's good now that the speakers are mostly Asians.
Yes.
So it gives at least a differentiate between other TBEX in North America or in Europe. Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's tell everybody where they can find you on your social media, your website, where they can buy your books. Tell us all where we can find you.
Okay, you can follow me on my Instagram or Twitter or Facebook at Trinity Traveler.
And that's spelled that TR?
Trinity, TRINITY TRAVELER.
So traveler spelled the American way.
Yes. Okay.
Spells in the United States.
Yeah.
All right.
And then for the YouTube is The Naked Traveler.
And is it naked as in NAKED?
Yes.
Okay.
NAKED. The Naked Traveler. But it's fully clothed again.
It's fully clothed,
So,
okay.
I bet you get some clicks.
Yeah, it's funny, because I don't do much in my YouTube because it takes a lot of efforts. And then the first I saw the most people that clicks my YouTube, the title is dancing with the topless Amazonian. I mean, it was just I just posted I just shoot 1 minute and it become 1 million views. Wow. And then other videos, I make very much, so much effort that I put is low in traffic. So really people likes the keyword.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here. We appreciate you giving us your knowledge.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was a pleasure.
Bye.
You're listening to Travel Matters, the official podcast of TBEX.
Not bad.
Not bad, right? Do you think that you would have asked the same questions?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah, we got a good stand-in here, and I'm sure she could also replace me at any time. So I just said to you, because as you know, I've worked in radio also as a program director, and I said if I was about to cast a new morning show, I would have Tomiko high on the list. She's so good. She's so good. Yeah. It was such a pleasure.
Yeah. Well, thankfully she was there, and she did a great job.
Yeah. So this was the last one before Christmas, and we already talked about I'm going to be on a plane as a nomad would be on Christmas, but it's going to be your first Christmas in Utah, or are you going somewhere to family, or what's going to happen?
We are going to be here for Christmas itself. We may go to San Diego to visit family for a few days, either just before or just after. But we just had our big snow today, our first big snow of the year. So it looks beautiful. And we've got the Christmas lights up, and yeah, we're ready for Christmas in the winter wonderland.
Yeah, yeah. And as I said, this is the last of our episodes before Christmas. We're gonna leave you in peace over Christmas, but we will be back and be back strong on January 4th, just after New Year's Eve, with Kulas, Kyle Jenneman, the Becoming Filipino keynote speaker, and we got so much else lined up. Let me look at the list here. Sharon Goulet, Megan Singleton, Scott Gurian, Maria Haas, Jason Rupp, Rick Kazarian, Josh Demon from the Poor Traveler, Matt Gibson, Paul Prunkarn, Dan Seek, Nathan and Sarah, Travel Dave, and AJ Sood. And then we had so many more of the speakers and attendees that we wanted to talk to that we just didn't have time for. So we're going to do a lot of online interviews when we go into the new year. So we got so much coming up here on Travel Matters, and it's going to be really interesting.
Absolutely.
Well, Rick, send my best to Angie and the kids, and have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again on the other side.
And next time we'll talk, you'll be in Australia. Have a good trip.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Happy Christmas.
You've been listening to Travel Matters, the official podcast of TBEX. This episode of Travel Matters was hosted by TBEX CEO Rick Calvert and Radio Vagabond Palle, and produced by radioguru.co.uk. See more about upcoming TBEX events on tbexcon.com. You can follow Palle on the radiovagabond.com.